So I just invested in the Nokta Macro Anfibio Multi, which I do have to say I love the name of that detector. That is the best name on the market. But it's May of 2019, and there's a lot of really great options that are out there. What made me choose this? This video is going to tell you why I chose this. Maybe it'll help you make a choice for yourself for what your next detector is. I'm also going to show you my first hunt with it. Reason one is because of the area that I hunt in and around New York requires extra depth. I've dug 3 colonial coins, about 10 large cents, many relics from past eras. 90% of those signals have been greater than 10 inches. My favorite detector to date is my Minelab Safari, which I supplemented with, it's called a Watt coil, wild orange thing. And it's just an extra large coil that gives you a little bit of extra depth. Since I added that to the Safari, I've gotten all sorts of great stuff. That is, as long as I'm not in a super trashy area. So, New York, it's something that you need extra depth because people are always manicuring their lawns, manicuring the parks. Sometimes that requires adding more dirt, adding more seed, and really you don't have a lot of the clay soil in New York. It's the very fine type of dirt that really the coins sink in. So, that was reason one. Now, in terms of depth, there was a great video that was done by England's History, and I'm going to link to it up here. It basically compared the Equinox 800. It did a depth test between the Equinox 800 and the Nokta Macro Anfibio Multi. I'm going to get used to saying that, I swear. And the results spoke for themselves. The Nokta had much better results. So that has been in the back of my head. Check out that video too. Reason number 2 is because New York is pull tab and bottle cap land. I'm telling you, if you plant a garden in New York, you're going to grow a few tomatoes that look like pull tabs and maybe a carrot, believe it or not, that looks like a bottle cap. Our soil is rich with trash. It's almost like somebody had a party and started throwing these objects in the air. Our parks, everything. It is everywhere you dig. It is really difficult detecting around these objects, so I needed a detector with fast recovery speed. The Hunter GT Excellent channel did a segment on this yesterday, and I have a link to it right here. You should all check it out. It's must-view material for serious detectorists. And basically, what is recovery speed? It's how quickly your detector can move from signal A to signal B. So think about that. There's a valuable coin here. There's a pull tab here. As long as it's not within, under the coil at the same time, and you're swinging your coil, it goes AB. A good detector, it will switch just on the spot right there. And I've had detectors with slow processors before. It's just how fast, you can process this. And I was listening to a live stream that he did, and he was talking about that, and I was on the fence. I considered other detectors, but that live stream, which I'm linking to here, it kind of won me over with this. It was the icing on the cake. Reason 3 is because I am a metal detecting wine taster, if you will. So I've owned first a toy detector, then a bounty hunter, then a Garrett AT Pro, then a Minelab Safari, and I kind of bought a White's Beach Hunter at the same time because I wanted something specific for the beach. So I've tried a lot of different types of detectors. If you believe in brand loyalty, I think you're missing out because I've noticed big differences between these different detectors. I've noticed even when I am gridding and going over the same exact ground, maybe there are slight soil differences such as when it rains, but with different detectors I find different things. And the programmability of the detectors that I have are not to the capabilities that the Nokta is, and it's a more it's not a plug and play detector. It's one that I'm really going to have to learn, and I'm aware that it has a learning curve involved. So I'm 7 years into my metal detecting journey, and no more plug and play detectors. I want to be able to fully understand how the detector works, what settings work in a given soil. I'm ready for that next step right now. If I was more of a beginner detector, I would have gone for something that was easier, that was just, okay, I plug it in and I go. But what's more valuable to me now is the learning that's involved. What settings you use in a given soil, that I think will make the difference. I think there's going to be very little difference, even in the depth, between my MineLab Safari and this. But what will make this different is the customizability of that for different settings. The final reason, which was really the icing on the cake, was the price point. Because if you compare this to an XP Deus, a Deus is almost twice the price for what I see is a very similar detector. Please let me know in the comments if you disagree with that statement. Even the Equinox, it's about $100 more. And going back to a prior point, I already have a MineLab in my inventory, and a very good one. And that played into my decision. I love that MineLab. It was, I almost went brand loyalty there and got the 800, but I felt that it would be too similar and it would be too non-customizable. I also want to point out what my game plan is. I really want to learn about these detectors and purchase all of those detectors someday. Look, we all have our vices. A metal detector is an object that makes you money. I'm not gambling it away. It's always a good investment. Some of these might be similar. If something's too similar, guess what? I sell it. It's an object. I don't mind doing that. But where I'm at right now, the point in my life, I'm willing to invest in the right things. And what I'm really thirsty for is that detector knowledge right now. So, anyway, let's see how the Nokta does on my first hunt. So, I'm off to my favorite park, and this is the park that has yielded me the most since I started metal detecting way back in 2012. Got colonial items all the way up to present day stuff here. But anyway, this is a spot that I know for a fact the signals that are really good, they're very deep. And what I know about the macro is it can go deeper. It has a mode that goes exquisitely deep. I know that from watching videos that this is a detector that has a learning curve. And I'm expecting to have just that. My soul and my brain were absolutely connected with my MineLab Safari. I could infer, I could predict. I have so much experience with it, thousands of hours using it, that I know it's so cold. I know when to dig and when to skip. And from experience, each detector, it's a little bit different of a learning curve. It's a little bit different of an experience. I'm looking to start my experience with this detector. So first target, getting the signal that's jumping around. Seems to be about 6 inches down. Alright, so now we know 50s are deep pull tabs. If you're looking to buy a metal detector, remember this. The ultimate metal detecting tool is this. It's experience and it is inference, inferring what you know about your detector with the conditions that you know are in the ground and the object that you think you have. After you've been through it a whole bunch of times with a detector, you can start to predict. I was unable to do that with this detector.
All right, first promising signal of the day. This is higher. I've seen it jump all the way from 50 to 80. And deeper than the others. All right, let's dig it right here.
On this target, the pinpointer said it was 5 inches, but I found this on the surface. I consider this spoon to be my first officially cool find with the macro. My first coin find with the Nokta Macro was this zinc penny. So I found this old piece of copper, and this is something that I should have, the amount of times that I've been through this park, I should have picked up with the Mine Lab, but it must have seen it as too big of an object. I didn't get the right signal, so I was wrong about that with the other detectors, and perhaps I just dug this one up as I was going through the learning curve here. One thing that is spectacular on the macro is pinpointing. You push the pinpoint button, and it is so much more accurate than the MineLab Safari. Part of the problem I had with my Safari is I had the extra large coil, and pinpointing with that definitely takes a learning curve in itself. But this, it was easy. It was really easy. One thing I think they could have done a better job with in the training manual is the target IDs. There are that was a dime, but there were a bunch of different numbers, and every time that you changed modes, it would alter it ever so slightly, and there would be different sounds also. I spent most of my first day detecting in general mode, which is the one on the top. The other one that I tried as a recommendation from the manual is three-tone mode. They say that's great with coins. And I also tried in deep mode, but I really struggled with that. Now, I was saying that the pinpointing was great, but if you remember back to that surface target, it said it was 5 inches down, and it was nowhere near that. So I have to learn what I did wrong there and fix that. I was in general mode here, and I'm assuming at this point, because the book it wasn't clear, I'm assuming at this point it's like other detectors. The higher the amount, the higher the target ID, that is, the more likely that it is a silver object. But here, as you can see, that's not silver. That was something that would be considered in the silver range on other detectors, but that was a piece of iron right there. They say in the book that something that is very big can have a target ID. Another thing I didn't like that scares me in the book, I always keep my detectors in the back of my car. They say keep the batteries away from extreme heat and extreme cold. So I'm going to have to bring it in the house and get in new habits. As for the objects that I did pull, the deepest one was about 7 inches down, and it was this coin, and it's something that I probably missed. That I think easily I could have gotten to that depth with my Mind Lab. So in terms of my reaction on the first day, I'm still happy and excited with this purchase. It's not that I have I had a bad time with it. I love the weight of it and the ergonomics of it. It is very easy to swing. My Mind Lab, oh my God, my shoulder muscle is the only diesel muscle in my body because from swinging that thing, it is so heavy. But this one is super
Okay,
light,
might have my
and
first really
I look
deep
forward
signal.
to learning the ropes with it. So, my honest reaction, and I'm doing this less than 24 hours after my first hunt with it, my honest reaction is it is not an intuitive machine. I kind of expected that though. It is a more advanced machine. If you want something plug and play that you could just go detecting and get the maximum out of the machine with small amount of variables, this is not the machine for you. If you're somebody who really wants to learn every little nuance about a whole variety of features, this is the machine for you.
I struggled with it. I'll show you what I got in a moment, but I do better 99 times out of 100 when I go detecting with the MindLab Safari. Having that said, I went to a park that I've had a lot of luck in the past, and I knew the detector that I used absolutely cold before this. So, it was an unfair first run, but I look forward to more hunts with this. I'm excited, to hunt with this. That would be my honest reaction. Right now I give it a B minus, but only because I don't know how to use it yet, and I know that's going to change. I have no doubt it's going to get up, hopefully into the A range very soon. So these are the finds of my first day with the Nokta Macro, and maybe $1 in change. The spoon probably was the highlight. A few iron objects, uh, a whole variety of stuff. Dug maybe about 20, 25 targets. So, I'm going to keep practicing. I'm going to keep using it, and I'm vowing to learn this detector cold. So, I'll be back with more videos. Thanks for watching.